Welcome back, babes. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys all my tips on how to avoid your foundation from getting cakey, from creasing, from separating, how to stop it from getting oily, and how to make it last all day. These are my tips for the perfect foundation application. First step, you want to make sure that your skin is moisturized. This step is really important because to avoid any type of cakiness for your foundation, your skin needs to be hydrated. So use a moisturizer first, and then I also really love using the MAC Fix Plus. This gives your skin the most refreshing hydration, and it just feels so good on, and it smells amazing. So I love using this before any makeup application. Also, to ensure that you don't get any dryness or cakiness under your eyes with your concealer, I love using an eye gel. This one from H2O Oasis is a favorite. It's the instant hydrating stick. It's oil free and it gives a ton of hydration without any greasiness. Next step is primer. I personally love to mix primers. I think you can totally do this depending on your different skin needs. I love starting with a hydrating primer. This one from Laura Mercier is great. It's gonna give your skin that extra bit of hydration. This is gonna really help to avoid any cakiness. And then I like to use an oil control primer. This one from BareMinerals works great if you have oily to combo skin. An oil control primer before foundation is what's gonna help make sure that your foundation does not get oily throughout the day. And then another option is a pore filling primer. This is great, especially if you have large pores. This is going to totally smooth out your skin and you won't get any cakiness at all. Next, we want to focus on problem areas. So if you have problem areas that tend to really crease, like your smile lines, around the side of your nose, between your eyebrows, or even if your foundation tends to rub off your nose, then you're going to do this extra step. Take an eyeshadow primer, which is a lot thicker and heavier than a regular primer. Take a small bit on your finger, smooth it out in those areas that tend to crease more than others. Use a small amount and just press it into your skin rather than rubbing. If your foundation tends to rub off your nose, using the eyeshadow primer as a base on your nose first before applying foundation will make sure that the foundation stays put and does not rub off. Next, you're going to take a very small amount of loose translucent powder. I'm using this one from Laura Mercier. Gently pat that over the eyeshadow primer. And then the final step for the problem areas, you're going to take a bit of setting spray it onto your brush, set everything you just applied. So go over with your brush the areas where you applied the primer, powder, and this is going to ensure that all those areas that you tend to really crease, you will not get any creasing. You'll be 100% crease free all throughout the day. Next up, foundations. You need a long wear mattifying foundation. This one from BareMinerals is one of my favorites. It is their brand new BarePro Performance Wear Liquid Foundation. Long wear foundation. What's going to help make sure that your foundation lasts for hours. The BareMinerals BarePro is a 24-hour coverage foundation, so you know it's going to last. Mattifying is also key because it won't crease. You really want to avoid more dewy foundation. Dewy textures can really crease and they don't last as long. Press the foundation into your skin with either a damp beauty blender or a stippling brush. Stippling the product into your skin helps build up the foundation. Rubbing or sweeping the foundation can really shear it down. Another key thing to make your foundation last is using a full coverage foundation. A foundation like the BarePro is going to give you that full coverage but still have a really natural finish. Once I have my full application, I love taking my wet beauty blender and just going over everything without adding any extra product, but this will really just help blend the foundation into your skin, and this will really avoid any cakiness. Next, for concealer, you want to apply concealer after foundation rather than before. Applying concealer before can add extra texture that is unnecessary and can cause caking and creasing. And instead of using a brush, try using a wet sponge. This will help melt the concealer into your skin and make it look a lot smoother and avoid creasing and cakiness. Next step to ensure your foundation lasts is to set everything with a powder. I love using a translucent powder like this one from Laura Mercier because it's a lot finer than a pressed powder or a full coverage powder. This one won't look cakey. I personally don't bake. I think baking sometimes can make your foundation look cakier. Instead, I use a puff to pat and roll the powder onto my skin. Using a puff like this won't add any texture. It's just going to give you a really soft, smooth effect on your skin. For under my eyes, I love taking a wet beauty blender and applying the powder with that. That'll really help give you a really nice smooth texture, and it'll make sure that there's no creasing throughout the day. Another key step, you want to always apply your powders after liquids. If you apply powder before your liquid foundation, that is like a recipe for cakiness and creasing. The last step is to set your entire face with a setting spray. This is going to make sure that your foundation lasts for hours, that it doesn't budge, that it doesn't crease, and that it doesn't look cakey. It's going to give a little bit of dewiness so your skin doesn't look dull. And since I love you guys so much, I'm going to do a giveaway on my Instagram at Eman to give away 3 setting sprays. Be sure to add me and comment on my last picture, and you can win one of my favorite setting sprays to help your makeup last perfectly. One more last tip, I love using the Beauty Blender Blotterazzi. Instead of adding powder throughout the day to get rid of any oil, which can really make your skin look cakey, this is a very cool sponge. You pat it onto your skin and it just soaks up any oil without adding any extra product, so your skin looks smooth, your foundation won't look cakey. Those are my tips for getting the perfect foundation application to making sure your foundation lasts. You will be crease proof. Be sure to subscribe, guys. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Eman to be able to win a full bottle of my favorite setting spray. Be sure to check out all the products I use in the description box with links, including the brand new BareMinerals BarePro Foundation. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I love you, and I'll see you in another video very soon.